Welcome back to Boring Gear Reviews. This week we've got the Safari Pedals Fox Echo Chorus. Thanks so much to Gnome for sending me the Fox Echo. So the Fox Echo Chorus is a plugin based on a lot of the analog echo and chorus units from the 70s. But here, because it's digital, we get a lot more control and consistency. So for controls, we have level, and that'll control the input gain of the signal you're putting into the plugin. And you can crank it past, around 2 o'clock, it'll start to add some really nice saturation and warm breakup. There's also an auto gain switch that'll balance the input and output signal. And then we have chorus, which is turned on and off via the red LED or the white switch on the bottom. And then that is controlled with an intensity knob. And basically, counterclockwise, it's a less intense chorus, and clockwise, it's a more intense chorus. And then we have echo, and the first knob here is a positional knob, so there's 6 positions, and each one will give you a different setting of the tape heads as they're playing back the echoes. And then we have volume, which will control the level of the echoes themselves. And then we have a switch for repeats, so we can have your standard repeats or just flip it down for a single repeat. The intensity knob is going to control the feedback of the delay, and the repeat rate is obviously the time of the delay. By cranking the intensity, you can also kind of increase the record level of the delay so you can get some breakup in the delay signal itself. And all these controls also pair with the S-on-S or sound-on-sound function. So when you engage the sound-on-sound function, you'll have like a repeating delay that's playing over the sound that's already recorded, kind of like a loop. And next we have a really gorgeous reverb that is controlled with the volume. So once you turn it on all the way counterclockwise, it's off, and then the more clockwise you turn it, the more you introduce that reverb. And it's a very kind of lush, natural sounding reverb. Then we have an overall EQ of bass and treble. We have a blend slider, which will mix between your dry and wet signal. A noise slider, which you can use to introduce some hiss and hum. And then the output, which you can set as well. For today's demo, I'm using my 1992 Orville by Gibson Les Paul Custom, and this has Lollar Imperial pickups. I have a low wind in the neck and a high wind in the bridge. And as always, I'll be running that into my Universal Audio Apollo X6 and using the Softube JMP 2203 amp sim. So in this first clip, you're going to hear my clean tone, and then I'm going to engage the chorus and a little bit of slapback delay. Oftentimes with chorus plugins, I'm left kind of feeling a little bit, disconnected from the effect. That's not the case here. This manages to have a very warm analog chorus sound, which is the sound that I really love. So you'll see it just adds a ton of glass and polish, and it's just a great chorus sound. And even though you don't have control over, speed and depth and everything like that, I didn't really find it necessary. And the slapback delay will be there because I love slapback delay. This is super easy to set. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, with the positional knob of the echoes, each one has a different range of time for the delay. So, you can play with that as well. But here I just have it set as like a, 120 millisecond slapback. All right, in this next clip, we're going to use the echo and the reverb. So we're going to have the reverb set around noon, so it just lays a really nice bed of reverb behind everything else. For the echoes, we're going to have the intensity all the way up, so they're going to get kind of gritty. And I'm going to have the time, this is about almost max, it's like, I don't know, 520 milliseconds, somewhere around there. And I'm also going to crank the level knob so my input signal is distorting. And in the last section, I'm going to engage the sound on sound function. So you'll hear the regular delays repeating, and then when it turns on, it'll be fairly obvious, and you'll hear kind of this big wash and push and all this delay. It really makes for a really interesting signal, and it creates a bunch of texture behind it, and there's like a lot going on, but you never lose the kind of clarity of the input signal. This sound I had a lot of fun with. It's very gritty, a lot of great saturation, and I don't know, this thing was just a blast to play. Well, enjoy. And for this last clip, we're going to use the UAD RAW plugin, which is modeled after a rat pedal, and that'll be first into the Fox Echo chorus. And in this clip, we're going to turn everything on. So we're going to have the chorus maxed, the reverb maxed, we're going to add some noise, and we're going to have a fairly long repeating echo, but we're going to roll the treble all the way off. So it creates this really cool and like semi-chaotic pad, but it'll be really determined by the strength of the input signal. So in the first section, I'm going to roll the volume back on my guitar so you can really hear this beautiful pad behind it. And then as I crank up the volume, you'll hear all this chaos and really cool, I don't know, like transients and ambient stuff going on. It's super busy, but not in a bad way. It never gets messy. And then I'll play very softly at the end, and you'll hear it's almost like a choir. There's elements that sounds like a voice while it's playing. It's super cool. I created this setting and I immediately saved it, and I was like, this is super rad. I want to be able to do this a lot. So enjoy. And that'll do it for the Fox Echo Chorus from Safari Pedals. Suffice it to say, I think this is a really, really great plugin. You have a ton of options in a super easy to use and very attractive user interface. All the Safari Pedals stuff is priced really well, so it's kind of a no-brainer. I really feel like this is a plugin I'll come back to quite a bit. So go check them out. I got links in the description below, as well as links to everything else I'm using in the video. If you dig the content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe and notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video, which is every week. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.